So the test we want to carry out now is the continuity test using our two multimeters. Firstly, the Victor meter. You can see the meter. So the first thing is to take the dial knob to continuity position. So which is like in form of like a wave sign / diode sign, because it uses the same position as the diode rating position. So the first thing in carry out this test, we insert our probe to the positive and the COM position. Then the first thing to do is to test the continuity of the probes itself by linking them together. So you can see it's been we've tested them, it is okay. We can see the flashlights and the beep from the meter, which indicates the probes are fine. So now what we want to do now is to test the continuity of this our cable. So we just cut small out of the cable with the plier. So after cutting it, the next thing to do is to peel the cable. So have a good contact with the cable conductor. In this cable, we have two cables inside. So we're making use of one just out of the two cables. So we have the blue and the black cable, black wires inside. So after peeling the wire, then we'll peel out the insulation. So have a good contact with the meter probe. So I'm going to take one of my probe, so one end of the cable, then the other probe to the second end of the cable. We can see the resistance of the cable, the flash and the beep. So which indicates there is a good continuity from the start to the end of the cable, which makes the cable to be a good cable. Now let's cut the cable at a position, then we test the continuity. So testing it like you can see there is no continuity again because the cable is not continuous. So now we'll put the cable where we cut the cable before, then join the positions together back, then we'll test the continuity again. So with this, if you are testing a cable that is being concealed inside the wall, so with this type of test, we can use to know if the cable is actually good or the cable is bad. So that is about the continuity of a cable. So as we want to test a breaker, if the breaker is okay, the breaker is good or the breaker is bad. So you can see this is a 2-pole breaker that has 4 terminals, 2 inputs, pole 1 and pole 2, and 2 outputs for the first pole and the second pole. So there should be continuity from the inputs to the outputs, as well as the second pole too. So what I'll do now is put the breaker on position, then put my probes across the inputs and the output terminal of the first pole. So we can see there's continuity, we can see the flash. The second pole too, there's continuity. So the next thing is to off the breaker. You can see after offing the switching of the breaker, there is no continuity for the first pole input and output as well as the second. So the next thing to do now is to use our cleaning tools like a clamp meter to also carry out the same tests as we did with the Victor meter. So we switch it to continuity position. As we did earlier, you can see the infinity sign. So now the next thing now is to plug our probes to the positive and negative to the COM. So removing our probe from the first meter, then jacking it in the second meter. So we'll do carry out the same measurements as we did in the first meter. So the first thing now, let's check our cable. You can see, let's check the resistance of our cable as we did earlier. So putting them together, the meters together to ascertain the probe condition. The battery of the meter is not well placed. So I just need to quickly fix that by opening the back of the meter to access the AAA battery. This car meter uses a AAA battery, while the Victor meter uses a 9 volts battery. They use different batteries. So now I fixed the batteries back. Then let's continue with our reading. So taking the probes together. So now we've ascertained that there is continuity between the probes. Then we proceed to our testing. Testing would be breaker, the input and output. You can see there's continuity. On the second port, there's continuity. So you can as well switch off the breaker. You can see it is on. There's no continuity again, which means the breaker is okay. Then we can switch it on back. So then we know that this breaker is okay. So that is that about continuity tests.